Chapter 3 and 4. Chapter 3 The Attack. Henry was stirring the beans over the fire when he heard the sled dogs suddenly snap and growl. He looked over the flames and saw them scatter around the fire. By the time he reached them, one more was missing. Bill rushed to his side. "Frog's gone," Henry said, and he was the strongest of the bunch. Bill looked out into the darkness, searching for movement or eyes to close to the camp. The pack of wolves started to howl again, sending the sled dogs into further panic. The wolves were all around the small camp. Bill knew they were surrounded. They were in a great deal of danger. "Looks like we won't be sleeping very well tonight," said Bill. Henry and Bill took turns watching and sleeping. It was a restless night, and both men were very nervous. Every sound startled them. They looked around quickly every time a sled dog whimpered or moved. First one sled dog ran off, then another. They had no way of knowing if they joined the wolf pack, were eaten, or took their chances in the wild. With any luck, they found their way to the next village. The red dog from the wolf pack was the first one to jump toward the fire. The other wolves, once again, followed her lead. They took turns running at the men, trying to knock them down. Henry and Bill held their ground. They grabbed sticks from the fire and swung them at the attacking animals. The wolves yelped as the flames hit them, but this only stopped them for a bit. As the night wore on, they came in closer and more often. Each leap toward the men was met with a swing of the club. Bill shot the rifle at one of the wolves, but missed. He thought better about wasting another bullet, their last, in the dark. Henry moved the burning logs into a circle. He grabbed Bill's arm and pulled him into the ring of fire. It was very hot standing inside the circle, but it was certainly better than fending off the wolves with sticks. The starving animals continued in their attempts to reach the men, but the flames pushed them back every time. In the morning, the wolves were still skulking close by. The last two sled dogs had run off, and the men were now alone. The red dog stood farther back. She watched the wolves circle the men or leap at the fire. She seemed to know that something would happen soon. Either the men would try to escape, or one of the wolves would make it across the fire. Chapter 4 Rescued. The fire was getting low, and there were no more wood. "The trees," Henry said. He pointed toward the spruce trees standing 20 feet from their campsite. Bill nodded. He pointed his rifle at a group of wolves and fired. He nicked one in its hind leg. It stumbled and yelped in pain while the others scattered. Henry and Bill raced toward the spruce trees. They ran faster than they had ever had before. In mere seconds, they were each high up in a tree, watching the wolves circle and howl below. The wolves started to fight amongst themselves. The red dog snapped and growled at anyone who came near her. A large gray wolf, the leader of the pack, nipped at the heels of the other wolves. He encouraged them to find a way to get the men, and he was keeping them away from the red dog. His gesture was unnecessary, though. No one could get close to her. It was hours later when the wolves heard something in the distance. The red dog was the first to stop and listen. She quickly understood and ran off in the opposite direction. The wolf pack followed. Henry and Bill waited, wondering what could have scared them off. A half a dozen men approached on sleds. Henry and Bill could not believe their luck. They shouted and waved up to the men. "Up here," Henry called. "You came just in time." The sled stopped beneath the trees. One of the men called, "What are you doing up there?" "A red dog," Bill stuttered. "She lured our sled dogs away. A pack of wolves tried to get us." They helped Henry and Bill down. The two men hugged their rescuers. There was not much time for questions and answers, though. Both men fell asleep almost immediately, worn out from their adventure. While the other men set up camp and started supper, Henry and Bill snored loudly on blankets. By this time, the wolf pack was already far away. It was on a new trail, hoping to pick up another scent in the frozen wild. As the moon rose in the sky, the wolves ran swiftly through the woods. The story of Henry and Bill was now over, while the story of the red dog and the wolves was just beginning.